मैं हूं रविंद्र चौहान।
मैं रश्मि भैया शर्मा।
मैं नश्विता महन।
समाचार नॉर्थ ईस्ट हर शाम 6 बजे।
News to keep you ahead.
News at 5 in association with Accoland Amusement Park, Annapurna Foods, Junior Holics, and Biz Farm Biscuits.
Uneasy calm prevails in Manipur border town Moreh as bodies of 2 Tamil youths yet to be returned by Myanmar. Shops, markets remain closed. Streets were deserted. Look. Decisive meet of core committee on Naga issue scheduled for July 16th. All MLAs, 2 MPs to attend meet in Nagaland Assembly. Core committee to take stand on current status of peace talks during meets. Massive protest in Garo Hills over alleged assault of woman by Assam police. People take to the streets in North Garo Hills demanding termination of services of accused policemen. Assam government provides financial package of over rupees 800 crore to 2,751 employees of Nagaon and Kachar paper mills. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma distributes checks in Guwahati. And amid political crisis, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson agrees to resign. Johnson to address nation today. Hello and welcome to News at 5. I am Pooja and we start the bulletin with a big story related to the Naga peace talks. A crucial meeting of the core committee on Naga political issue will be held in the Nagaland Assembly on July 16th. The July 16th meet will be attended by all the members of the parliamentary committee and the 2 MPs from Nagaland. The crucial meet on July 16th will take a call on the core committee's stand on the current status of the Naga peace talks. And this was informed by core committee member secretary Neba Kronu after the meeting. Speaking to media, Minister Neba Kronu said that the meeting will be held after the mock drill for the presidential elections on July 16th in the Assembly Hall. He added that the core committee will have thorough discussions on peace talks with the elected representatives.
We had a meeting, but there is no resolution. But we have decided to call for all the parliamentary core committee, that is all the elected members, including the both MPs, to have a thorough discussion, a very serious discussion on 16th of this month in the assembly.
Okay.
It will not be that assembly session,
Okay.
but the mock drill for this presidential election will be there. So everybody have to come. So that after that, we will have a serious discussion in the conference call. And we will talk about this political issue.
Meanwhile, in a bid to break the fresh deadlock in the Naga peace talks, some CSO leaders have now reportedly mooted the idea of a neutral party to act as a catalyst to the talks. All right, my colleague Sarah Konyak joins us over the phone line to give us the latest on this crucial meet that took place today. Well, Sarah, today's meeting of the core committee on Naga issue was a short one. However, there is a crucial meeting lined up for July 16th at the Nagaland Assembly. Significantly, as per Neba Chrono, the stand of the core committee will be decided in that meet. Your inputs.
Yes, absolutely. The core committee meeting today, which was held at the CH residence, was very brief. The members have not shared the details of what actually transpired in today's closed door meeting. However, the member secretary have informed us that the core committee will be calling for a meeting on 16th of July of the parliamentary committee of the on the Indo-Naga political issue, which includes all the 60 MLAs and as well as the 2 MPs. That is scheduled to be held on 16th of July at the Nagaland Assembly Secretariat after the mock drill for the presidential elections. So what we need to understand is that the core committee will be adopting a resolution on the 16th of July where they will make the stand of the core committee very clear on this issue. As we all know that the talks between the NAC and IM and the government of India have come to a standstill for almost a month following the May 31st resolution, which was adopted by the NAC and IM, where they have made this stand very clear that talks have to go according to the basis of the framework agreement. And what we have been made to understand is that the NAC and IM have conveyed to certain sections of the civil society organizations that talks will only resume when the government of India is ready to resume talks on the basis of the framework agreement.
All right. So, Sarah, there are also inputs that some civil society leaders are pitching for a neutral fund to intervene in the talks process. So, what inputs do you have?
Yes, Pooja. Well-informed sources have told our channel that some of the civil society organization leaders have conveyed the message to the NAC and IM for a third party to intervene in the talks as observers, a neutral third party as observers who will be here as observers to ensure that there is a smooth sailing of the talks. Sources have informed that the NAC and IM will be discussing on this matter, and they will take a call. However, we have not been able to confirm when the NAC and IM will be having a sitting to discuss and deliberate on this idea.
All right. Thank you, Sarah, for giving us those details at this point in time. All right, shifting focus to the big story from Manipur now. Well, situation continues to be tense in the state's border town of Moreh, with the bodies of 2 Tamil youths shot dead in Myanmar's Tamu yet to be returned. The entire Moreh town wore a deserted look today, with shops downing shutters and vehicles keeping off roads in protest against the killing of the 2 youths. Well, DIG Ningsheng Bongnam, who arrived in the border town of Moreh today, held a security meet with the CSOs. The meeting was held in the backdrop of violent protests that broke out in border town yesterday. DIG Wongam, during the meet, said that Manipur government is in constant touch with the Ministry of External Affairs, which has already communicated with the embassy at Yangon. Well, the embassy on its part had reportedly informed that the district administration of Tamu to return the mortal remains. However, there has been no response from the district administration so far. Well, this was informed to Northeast Live by the Vice President of Tamil Sangam, A. Kamal Nath. An assurance has also been given to bring back the mortal remains of the 2 Tamil youths soon.
It has been discussed here at this DIG, under the DIG. It was discussed that the government of Manipur is taking level-based through the high level, and the Minister of External Affairs will go and they are discussing from there to solve this problem as early as possible. And they also assure us that the dead body will be handed over to the concerned family. So this was discussed in the meeting.
Notably, it has been 3 days today since 2 Tamil youths were shot dead in Tamu by a militia group formed by the Myanmarese army when they had apparently crossed the border. And following this, a massive protest broke out in More on Wednesday, with the people demanding the handing over of the bodies of the Tamil youths. Angry protesters had gathered near the border, resorting to arson. Protesters gathered near the border pillar 76 near Sunrise Ground in Moray to stage a massive demonstration and also resorted to stone pelting and arson. In the wake of the situation, the Tengnopal District Administration has imposed Section 144 in Moray town, besides issuing an advisory to residents of Moray and all visitors to the area not to venture into the Myanmar side without proper documents and permits from the concerned authorities. Besides, a tight security has been put in place at the India-Myanmar border currently to ensure there is no further escalation of the situation. We have a breaking news coming in, viewers. A Northeast Live correspondent, Sharat Chandra, who is camping in Moray, spoke to DIG range to Ningsheng Vongnam on the return of the bodies from Myanmar. Well, DIG Vongnam said that there has been no response yet from Myanmar over the handing over the bodies so far. So breaking news at this point in time, viewers. Our Northeast Live correspondent Sharat Chandra, who is camping in Moray, spoke to DIG range to Ningsheng Vongnam on the return of the bodies from Myanmar. Well, DIG Vongnam said that there has been no response yet from Myanmar over the handing over of the bodies so far.
Yes, an unfortunate incident. The Moray police station, have received a missing report on the 5th of July 2022. And from informal, or we could say credible sources, but not government sources, there are some report doing around that the missing person whom the family have reported here are shot dead in the Tamu town. That information we are having from the 6th of July onwards. Because of that information that they have been shot dead in the vicinity of Moray, there have been some build-up of tension in this area. So because of the build-up of tension, state government have deputed additional police forces to camp in this area to see that no untoward incident happen in this area and to see that everything is settled coolly. As regarding the death of two persons who are shot dead in Tamu, authorities have been trying to communicate with the Myanmar authorities and their counterpart, but till now we have not received any positive reply from their side. But we are still trying our best. And for this town to remain peaceful, we are deploying our forces all along the strategic places here. We are having a meeting with the CSO of this town so that they also help us in bringing calm and peace and tranquility in this area.
All right, so as the families wait anxiously there, that was DIG Ningsheng Vongnam, who spoke exclusively to our correspondent Sharat Chandra, who is camping in Moray, to give us the minute-to-minute development, what exactly is happening. And this is what is the situation at this point in time, where Sharat Chandra spoke to DIG range to Ningsheng Vongnam on the return of bodies from Myanmar. And DIG Vongnam said that there has been no response yet from Myanmar over the handing over of the bodies so far. So the situation continues to be tense in the state's border town of Moray, with the bodies of two Tamil youths shot dead in Myanmar's Tamu yet to be returned. And the entire Moray town bore a deserted look today, with shops downing shutters and vehicles keeping off roads in protest against the killing of two youths. And earlier, our colleague Sharat Chandra called on the family members of both victims, P. Mohan and M. Ayanar. The family members of P. Mohan have expressed their helplessness amid the alleged lack of response from the authorities. The family members said that they have no information on whether the bodies are expected to be returned or when the bodies are expected to be returned or whether they will ever get the mortal remains back.
Now we have already entered the residence of this is Mohan, and Mohan's residence is very near. This residence is very near to the Sunrise Ground. Sunrise Ground is again just bordering with the Myanmar side. You can see on my right side is the family members, close family members of the deceased, and I came to know that she's the mother of this deceased Mohan, and on here is again Mohan this brother, and also we came here. This is Mohan wife, and all the you see the even the mother-in-law of the Mohan have already arrived here after getting the news of this incident. They are gathering here. आपको अभी क्या सूचना मिली है मोहन के बारे में?
कुछ गवर्नमेंट से सूचना भी कुछ नहीं बता रहा है, वो लोग प्रोसेस चल रहा है बोलता है, वो भी आके कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं देता फैमिली मेंबर को, ना आके इन्वेस्टिगेट करता ना कुछ बोलता। हम लोग जाके पूछते हैं, भी सीएम श्री बीरेंद्र सिंह को मोमेंटम दिया है बोलता है, वो मोमेंटम का बारे में भी क्या हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलता हम लोग को। बॉडी कब मिलेगा भी नहीं बोलता, मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा भी नहीं बोल रहा है। कल म्यांमार का न्यूज़ में तो बोला है कि वो लोग ने जलाया करके, वो भी सच है कि फेक है भी नहीं पता चल रहा है।
बोलने नहीं सकता हम।
कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
नहीं, उसको हिंदी नहीं आता।
तमिल में बोलिए उसको।
उन्नोட மனசு கஷ்டம் ஏதோ இருந்தா சொல்றாங்க।
എനിക്ക്
नहीं, वो बात करना नहीं चाहता।
आप है मदर इन लॉ मोहन की।
चेन्नई से अभी आया, बेटी को लेके आया, अभी 1 महीना अभी नहीं हुआ है। अभी ये 9 तारीख आने से इसको शादी होके 1 महीना, अभी 1 महीने से पहले ही वो गुजर।
9 जून को शादी।
हाँ, 9 जून को शादी हुआ। अभी ये 9 तारीख आने से ही तो 1 महीना पूरा खत्म।
सीएम बीरेंद्र सिंह से यही मांग है कि जल्द से जल्द जितना जल्द होता है हम लोग को बॉडी चाहिए फॉर्मेलिटी के लिए। ये लोग कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन भी नहीं मिल रहा है, कुछ बता रहा भी नहीं है ये लोग, तो हम लोग कैसे होगा? ये कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन तो देना चाहिए वो लोग ने आके।
Meanwhile, family members of M. Ayanar said that he had gone to Tammu on Monday to celebrate the birthday of kids from an orphanage and had also taken spices from the house. However, he never returned.
आपको ये आयनर कब घर छोड़ के गए थे और कब ये सूचना मिली थी, और अभी आपकी क्या मांग है, क्या मांग रहेंगे आप?
वो मंडे में गया था। मंडे में गया, इधर से मसाला उसला उसका बीबी ने पीस के दिया। इधर में बर्थडे है, अनाथाश्रम आश्रम बच्चा लोग है ना, वो लोग को खाना देगा करके मसाला पीस के, ये मोगन भी आइनर भी और दूसरा लड़का बुलाया, उसने लास्ट में नहीं आया, ये लोग दोनों को उन्होंने मार दिया। वो अभी तक वो लड़का खबर नहीं दिया, वो लड़का अभी तक नहीं आया। कुछ ना कुछ बोलना चाहिए ना, मेरे बेटा को मार दिया तो वो आके बोलना चाहिए, वो कुछ भी नहीं बोला।
ये लोग एक किसी की बर्थडे में शामिल होने के लिए गए हैं। मसला उसला जैसे जो कोई पहचान क्या है उनका, जैसे जो जहाँ पर बर्थडे पार्टी के लिए जा रहे थे तमिल में।
हाँ, इधर का लड़का है,
पुराना पहचान,
इधर का मोरे का लड़का है, बर्मा में रिया। हाँ, आश्रम में है ना, बच्चा लोग है ना, वो लोग बच्चा के लिए खाना देने के लिए बर्थडे के लिए गया था। ये लोग दोनों और दूसरा लड़का एक हो गया, ये लोग दोनों मर गया, वो लड़का नहीं आया अभी तक।
ये आयनर की माँ है। हम यही कोशिश करते हैं कि क्या है सूचना, क्या जानकारी है, बस यही जानने की कोशिश करता है। आयनर जब यहाँ से गई जिस दिन, एक तो बीबी होने के नाते मतलब कुछ तो आपको कह के गए होंगे, क्या कह के गया, मतलब कब वापस आएंगे ये भी बता के गया होगा मेरे ख्याल से।
डेट 5 था उस दिन, हम लोग आया था नीचे, यहाँ आया था, हम मसाला पीस के दिया था। वो जो भैया जिसका बर्थडे था उसने कहा था कि अनाथ और ओल्ड एज होम में खाना खिलाएगा, तो वो इधर आया था, हम भी देखा उसको, हम ही एक विटनेस जो पूरा सब जानता है। तो वो आया, उसने कहा कि हम जा रहे हैं टमू, आप लोग दोनों आयनर और मोहन 11 बजे में आ जाना उधर। 11 o'clock में उधर आ जाना। तो ये लोग उसी हिसाब से वहाँ गया, तो 11 में गया, 11 में ही सब हो गया शायद। हम लोग को तो 2 बजे ही पता चला।
एक तो आंटी कह रहा था कि किसी ने फोन नहीं किया, वो तो मतलब फेसबुक सोशल मीडिया के
हाँ।
जरिए पता चला।
जी।
आपको भी किसी ने
जी।
फोन नहीं किया?
नहीं करा।
जब से ये घटना घटी है यहाँ की, जैसे यहाँ की अधिकारी खास करके पुलिस या कोई डीसी की तरफ से घर वाले से कोई मिलने आया था क्या अभी तक?
मिलने तो नहीं आया, हम लोग सबके पास गया हेल्प के लिए, पर ज्यादातर तो हेल्प नहीं करा, पुलिस भी नहीं करा और अपना तमिल संगम भी ज्यादा कुछ नहीं करके दिया। बस कंप्लेन लिखा, मिसिंग फाइल करा, हो गया बस।
यही तो उनकी 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 मांग है और भैया बड़ा बड़ा दुख है, क्योंकि अभी तक कोई भी अधिकारी की तरफ से कोई भी सूचना घर वाले को नहीं दिया गया। With video journalist Roshan, this is Charachandra reporting for Northeast Live from Border Town, More.
On the other hand, Northeast Live also spoke to Teng Nopal DC on the situation in Moray. Let's listen in.
What is the latest situation out here in Border Town, More?
The situation as of now, with the cooperation of all CSOs of Moray, is normal.
And so far as the prohibitory order, then, and also the advisory note given from the district administration side not to venture out to Myanmar. So how long this prohibitory order advisory note will continue?
This will continue for some time until situations improve on the other side. It's for the safety of all.
Safety for all.
Safety for all.
Yeah, that's good. My last question is, do you have any information from your counterpart, that is from Myanmar administration side, regarding the handing over of these two dead bodies of goods?
So far, no such information regarding handing over of the two dead bodies. We are working on it, and we are exploring all options.
All right, so that was our correspondent, Sharat Chandra, who spoke to the Teng Nopal DC on the situation in Moray, and she mentioned that the situation is as of now in control. Is it under control? And earlier he also spoke to the DIG Ningshan Varnam, who spoke on the arrival of the mortal remains. Well, he also mentioned the DIG Range 2, Ningshan Varnam, on the return of bodies from Myanmar. He mentioned that there has been no response yet from Myanmar over the handing over of the bodies so far. And if we talk about the situation in Moray, so we just heard from the DC that it is under control at this point in time, because it was earlier tense with the bodies of two Tamil youths shot dead in Myanmar's Tamu yet to be returned. The entire Moray town bore a deserted look today, with shops downing shutters and vehicles keeping off roads in protest against the killing of two youths. And if we talk about the DIG Ningshan Varnam, he also mentioned about the security meet with the CSOs. The meeting was held in the backdrop of the violent protest that broke out in the border town yesterday. And during the meeting, the Manipur government is in constant touch with the Ministry of External Affairs, which has already been communicated with the embassy at Yangon, and the embassy on its part had reportedly informed the district administration of Tamu to return the mortal remains. However, there has been no response from the district administration so far. With that, we take a short break. Stay tuned for more news.
News to keep you ahead. Evening Prime, every day at 7 p.m.
The Tupul railway yard, where this massive landslide took place, there was a camp of the territorial army. There were camps of the railway. The landslide started and it came down all the way, and it went down furthermore many meters down to the None River. The officials of the NDRF, SDRF, and also the local people who are carrying out the search and rescue operations.
The Silung Pamai, he's the exact person just lead the rescue operation from this side. This is Saroi Pandongba village. This Izai River side, on the Saroi Pandongba side.
कि हम और आप कभी नहीं सोच सकते थे कि डिमा हाथों में इस तरह का न्यू हाथों रेलवे स्टेशन इतना कुछ हो सकता है और इसी रेलवे स्टेशन में विस्टाडून जैसा ट्रेन यहाँ पर स्पेशल टूरिस्ट आने जाने के लिए भी यहाँ पे रिसेंटली चलाया दिया गया था.
You can see the people are trying. The local people are trying to help each other.
Welcome back. And before moving to some other stories, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Uneasy calm prevails in Manipur border town Moreh as bodies of 2 Tamil youths yet to be returned by Myanmar. Shops, markets remain closed. Streets were deserted look. Decisive meet of core committee on Naga issue scheduled for July 16th. All MLAs, 2 MPs to attend meet in Nagaland Assembly. Core committee to take stand on current status of peace talks during meets. Massive protest in Garo Hills over alleged assault of woman by Assam police. People take to the streets in North Garo Hills, demanding termination of services of accused policemen. And Assam government provides financial package of over rupees 800 crore to 2,751 employees of Nagaon and Kachar paper mills. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma distributes checks in Guwahati. In what has come as a big sigh of relief for the employees of the defunct paper mills in Assam, a total of 2,751 employees of the Nagaon and Kachar paper mills were provided a financial assistance of rupees 810 crore and 2 lakh today. The humanitarian assistance was distributed by Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma in a special ceremony held at Srimanta Shankar Dev Kalakshetra. Meanwhile, as decided by the state government, a total of 84 employees have been inducted to various departments based on their qualifications and capabilities. Notably, the Nagaon paper mill has been shut since 2017, while the Kachar paper mill has remained defunct since 2015. Besides, more than 100 employees of these 2 mills have died ever since their shutdown.
আমাৰ প্ৰচেষ্টা থাকিব যে কৰিমগঞ্জৰ পেপাৰ মিলটোক আমি নতুনকৈ কোনোবা ব্যক্তিগত খণ্ড বা জয়েন্ট সেক্টৰত আমি অসমত আকৌ এটা পেপাৰ মিল আমি প্ৰতিষ্ঠা কৰিব খুজিম যেহেতু আমাৰ পেপাৰ মিলৰ ইতিহাসটো নোহোৱা হৈ নাযায় আৰু তাৰ কাৰণে আমি উদ্যোগ বিভাগত আমি ইতিমধ্যে সিদ্ধান্ত লৈছো যে কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলটো জিয়াবৰ কাৰণে আমি আকৌ এটা প্ৰচেষ্টা হাতত ল'ম হয়তো আগৰ দৰে নহব গভৰ্ণমেণ্টে নচলাব আমি আন ব্যৱস্থাৰে চলাব লাগিব আৰু বহু কেইজন অভিজ্ঞ কৰ্মচাৰীয়ে হয়তো পৰৱৰ্তী পৰ্যায়তো যদি তেনেকুৱা সিদ্ধান্ত হয় তেখেতসকলে সুবিধা পাব পাৰিব আমাৰ জাগিৰোডৰ যিটো পেপাৰ মিলৰ মাটি তাত আমাৰ ৰাজধানী ক্ষেত্ৰ সম্প্ৰসাৰণৰ বাবে আমি তাতে কাম কৰিম অৰ্থাৎ আমাৰ অসম গভৰ্ণমেণ্টত বহুত কেপিটেল আমাৰ পাৰ্মানেন্ট কেপিটেল নাছিলে আপোনালোকে জানে গতিকে আমি জাগিৰোডৰ ফালে বিধানসভা জুডিচিয়াৰী এক্সিকিউটিভৰ বহুত কাম আমি জাগিৰোডৰ ফালে কৰিম আমাৰ লক্ষ্য হৈছে যে গুৱাহাটী আৰু জাগিৰোডক 8 পথযুক্ত এটা পথেৰে সংযোজিত কৰা 8 লাইন সুপাৰ হাইৱে যাতে আমি গুৱাহাটীখনক আমি এক্সপান্ড কৰি গৈ থাকিব পাৰো ঠিক তেনেদৰে আমি গুৱাহাটীখনক আগবঢ়াব খুজিছো গুৱাহাটী উত্তৰ গুৱাহাটী আৰু শুৱালকুছি পলাশবাৰী ব্ৰিজেৰে আমি আন এটা স্যাটেলাইট টুৱাৰ্ডছ আমিনগাঁও সাংসাৰী কমলপুৰ তামুলপুৰ সেইফালে আৰু আন এটা আমি ব্যৱস্থা লৈছো পলাশবাৰী ফালে আগবঢ়োৱা অৰ্থাৎ যেনেকে নয়ডা গুৰগাঁও তিনিওফালে দিল্লীখন আগবাঢ়িছিলে তেনেকে আমি গুৱাহাটীক কেন্দ্ৰভূমি হিচাপে লৈ গুৱাহাটীখনক তিনিওফালে আমি এক্সপাণ্ড কৰাৰ কাৰণে সিদ্ধান্ত লৈছো আৰু বহুবিলাক কাম আমাৰ বেক অফিচত ইতিমধ্যে আমি আগবঢ়াই লৈ গৈছো গতিকে জাগিৰোড পেপাৰ মিলটো আমি উদ্যোগৰ কাৰণে ব্যৱহাৰ নকৰো that will be part of the government asset কিন্তু কৰিমগঞ্জ পেপাৰ মিলটোক আকৌ আমি পেপাৰ মিল হিচাপে আমি ৰিভাইভ কৰাৰ কাৰণে আমি সিদ্ধান্ত লৈছো কেনেকে কৰো কি ধৰণে কৰো তাৰ আমি সময়ত সিদ্ধান্ত লৈ গৈ থাকিম
Meanwhile, we have fresh reaction coming in from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma after providing the assistance.
Hindustan Paper Corporationৰ জাগিৰোড আৰু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলৰ কৰ্মচাৰীসকলক আজি আমি তেওঁলোকৰ প্ৰাপ্য ধন অৰ্থাৎ 2 বছৰৰ দৰমহা গ্ৰেচুইটি পেনশন আদি আমি সকলো উভতাই দিছো জাগিৰোড আৰু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিল দুটা অধিগ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ যাওঁতে ৰাজ্য চৰকাৰে সৰ্বমুঠ 810 কোটি টকা ব্যয় কৰে আৰু সেই 810 কোটি টকাৰ ভিতৰতে জাগিৰোড পেপাৰ মিল আৰু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলৰ কৰ্মচাৰীসকলৰ যি পাবলগীয়া দৰমহা আছিল পেনশন আছিল গ্ৰেচুইটি আছিল এই আটাইবোৰ আজি আমি আনুষ্ঠানিকভাৱে উভতাই দিছো ইয়াৰ লগতে জাগিৰোড আৰু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলৰ কৰ্মচাৰীসকলে ভৱিষ্যতেও যাতে এটা সামাজিক সুৰক্ষা পাব পাৰে তাৰ বাবে আমি 25 কোটি টকা ব্যয়েৰে এটা ন্যাস গঠনৰ সিদ্ধান্ত লৈছো যাৰ সুদৰ টকাৰে ভৱিষ্যতেও কৰ্মচাৰীসকলৰ বিভিন্ন বিপদ আপদৰ সময়ত যাতে চৰকাৰে নিৰন্তৰভাৱে তেওঁলোকক সহায় কৰি থাকিব পাৰে ইতিমধ্যে আপোনালোকে জানে যে জাগিৰোড আৰু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিল দুইটা ৰাজ্য চৰকাৰৰ হাতলৈ আহিছে কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলটোক আমি কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিল হিচাপে ইয়াক আকৌ নতুনকৈ চলোৱাৰ বাবে আমি প্ৰচেষ্টা কৰিম ব্যক্তিগত খণ্ডই হওক যৌথ খণ্ডই হওক তাৰ বিষয়ে আমি চিন্তা চৰ্চা কৰি আছো কিন্তু কাছাৰ পেপাৰ মিলটো যাতে পুনৰ ৰিভাইভ হয় তাৰ বাবে আমি কাম কৰিম জাগিৰোড পেপাৰ মিলৰ যিটো চৌহদ সেই চৌহদলৈ ৰাজধানী আমাৰ ৰাজ্যৰ ৰাজধানী ক্ষেত্ৰ সম্প্ৰসাৰিত হ'ব আজি এটা অসমৰ এটা বেদনাদায়ক ইতিহাস এটা আজি এটা আমি সামৰণি মাৰিব পাৰিলো কৰ্মচাৰীসকলে 60 লাখ 70 লাখ টকা পৰ্যন্ত কম্পেনচেশ্যন পেকেজ পাইছে প্ৰায় 100 জনৰ ওচৰা-ওচৰি কৰ্মচাৰীয়ে ৰাজ্য চৰকাৰৰ চৰকাৰী চাকৰিত পুনৰ যোগদান কৰিব গতিকে মই ভাবো যে এটা কৰোনাৰ ইতিহাস বেদনাৰ ইতিহাসৰ আজি এটা পজিটিভ সমাপ্তি এটা হ'ল
And on to the big international focus now. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has finally resigned after 50 ministers and aides, including 3 cabinet ministers, quit the government since late Tuesday. Well, Chancellor of Exchequer Rishi Sunak and Health Secretary Sajid Javid later set off the chain of resignations late Tuesday.
And in the last few days, I've tried to persuade my colleagues that it would be eccentric to change governments when we're delivering so much and when we have such a vast mandate and when we're actually only a handful of points behind in the polls, even in mid-term after quite a few months of pretty relentless sledging and when the economic scene is so difficult domestically and internationally. And I regret not to have been successful in those arguments. And of course, it's painful not to be able to see through so many ideas and projects myself. But as we've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. And our brilliant and Darwinian system will produce another leader equally committed to taking this country forward through tough times, not just helping families to get through it, but changing and improving the way we do things, cutting burdens on businesses and families, and yes, cutting taxes, because that is the way to generate the growth and the income we need to pay for great public services. And to that new leader, I say, whoever he or she may be, I say, I will give you as much support as I can. and to you, the British public. I know that there will be many people who are relieved and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks. I want to thank Carrie and our children, all the members of my family who have had to put up with so much for so long. Above all, I want to thank you, the British public, for the immense privilege that you have given me. And I want you to know that from now on until the new Prime Minister is in place, your interests will be served and the government of the country will be carried on.
Right, back to region now. Various NGOs of Dena Dubi area in North Garo Hills today came out in protest against the assault of a teacher from their village by police personnel of Dudnoi Police under Gwalpara in Assam. The protesters demanded the termination of the accused personnel as well as the strictest punishment against them. The teacher was allegedly assaulted by a police woman identified as Mamta Joshi, allegedly on the orders of a sub-inspector Bishnu Bahadur Nevar over a complaint by a coal trader from Gwalpara against her husband. At least 20 NGO groups were part of the protest today, which was attended by hundreds. It may be mentioned here that Gwalpara Superintendent of Police has suspended the sub-inspector and the female constable in question over allegations of assaulting the couple. It's a big story at this point in time, viewers. Various NGOs of Dena Dubi area in North Garo Hills today came out in protest against the assault of a teacher from their village by a police personnel of Dudnoi Police under Gwalpara in Assam. The protesters demanding the termination of the accused personnel as well as the strictest punishment against them. The teacher was allegedly assaulted by a police woman identified as Mamta Joshi, allegedly on the orders of a sub-inspector Bishnu Bahadur Nevar over a complaint by a coal trader from Gwalpara against her husband. At least 20 NGO groups were part of the protest today, which was attended by hundreds. It may be mentioned here that Gwalpara Superintendent of Police has suspended the sub-inspector and the female constable in question over allegations of assaulting the couple.
प्रोटेस्ट कर रहा है कि हम लोग का जो एक वुमेन थी उनके हस्बैंड का साथ थाना में गया था। हस्बैंड का कोई किसी ने बिजनेस वाला ने उसको ऊपर में केस ठोक दिया। जैसे हम लोग का विक्टिम की तरफ से स्टेटमेंट मिला है, थाना से वो उसका हस्बैंड निकल गया था, कहीं वापस नहीं आया और उसका सुसाइड था। वाइफ को बहुत पुलिस लोगों ने टॉर्चर किया था। टॉर्चर करने के बाद उसको रूम में लेके जा करके अपने चैम्बर में बैठा के वहाँ में बहुत बुरी तरह से पिटाई किया। ये सही नहीं है। कानून के मुताबिक से ये गलत तरीका था, इसलिए हम लोग ये इस बारे में हम लोग अपोज कर रहे हैं।
All right, my colleague Biplab Dey joins us over the phone line to give us an update on this big development coming in. Well, Biplab, massive protest in North Garo Hills against the assault of a female teacher. Tell us more on it.
Actually, this incident took place on the 4th of July. And this again relates to something very interesting. It relates to coal. It supposedly, this complainant from Gwalpara, Dhruvananda Chaudhary, he paid, he alleged that he paid 95,000 rupees for the movement of coal illegally to the husband of the victim. Now, there's actually been no written agreement or anything of the sort between them. But the police, despite the fact that the case, if it had to be registered, could only be registered in Meghalaya, it was still acted on by the police and by the sub-inspector in Dudnoi, who, after he saw that she was not going to get money out of the whole deal, he actually ordered for the assault of this lady. That is according to the victim's own words. Now they assaulted this lady for over an hour, and her entire back is completely blue, as of even till today. Now, later they filed a complaint with the SP of Gwalpara, stating what exactly happened. After which the action against the sub-inspector as well as the constable who actually beat up this lady took place.
All right. Now, Biplab, the two police personnel in question have already been put under suspension. So can we expect more protest despite the police action?
As of now, I don't think so, but they're still unhappy with the way the Dudhnoi and Damra police have been behaving. Because it seems, you have to understand that this is a border between Assam and Meghalaya, and a lot of these, children coming from Meghalaya, to various educational institutions or even for shopping, they actually have to come to Assam. Now, these people are alleging that this torture that happened maybe just has only brought the whole thing into focus. Earlier, there have been many complaints of people, even with papers, being, more or less extorted by the policemen, seeking money from these people who are coming from Meghalaya. They feel it is very easy prey, easy to get money from them. So, despite them having papers, despite them having everything, they still actually go ahead and demand money from them. Okay, so that's one point that they've actually raised, and they've, even urged the Assam government to take up this matter, because this could actually become a flashpoint in the coming future.
All right. Thank you, Biplab, for giving us those details at this point in time. On to Assam now. Well, the centre has extended a financial assistance of rupees 324 crore and 40 lakh to the Assam government's flood relief measures. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, while informing the development on Twitter, expressed his gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said that the financial aid will help combat the flood situation as well as make provisions for flood-affected victims. All right, so the centre has extended a financial assistance of rupees 324 crore and 40 lakh to Assam government's flood relief measures. Well, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, while informing the development on Twitter, expressed his gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said that the financial aid will help combat the flood situation as well as make provisions for flood-affected victims.
Central government has released one advance installment for SDRF to so that we can help the affected people of basically who has suffered immensely because of the flood, and they are in process of further releasing fund also from NDRF. One preliminary assessment has already been completed by the government of India. We are waiting for the report.
Meanwhile, the flood scenario in the state continues to be serious in certain places, even though the situation has overall improved. With 20 districts still reeling under floods in Assam, over 96,000 people are affected by it. Meanwhile, 266 relief camps are still operating in the state. While several areas are still reeling under heavy floods, there are still many other places that are dealing with the after effects of floods as people deal with damaged houses, properties, and flood-ravaged farmlands. With rainfall going down in several places in the state, the flood scenario has also gradually improved. However, the fluctuating situation of rainfall still continues to worry as many rivers in the state continue to flow in spades. Shifting focus to some national news now. Well, Trinamool Congress MP Mohua Moitra has been booked a day. She sparked controversy with her shocking remarks on Goddess Kali. The Madhya Pradesh has registered a case on Moitra for quote-unquote hurting religious sentiments. Besides, several police complaints were also filed against Moitra by the BJP supporters in West Bengal. The TMC, on the other hand, also said that it did not approve of her comments and it was for her to deal with police action. Moitra, on her part, said that she was not afraid of anything or anyone. It may be mentioned here that the Kolkata BJP Mahila Morcha staged a protest against Moitra's remark, demanding immediate arrest of the MP over her remarks on the documentary movie Kali, which has been embroiled in controversy over its shocking depiction of the goddess. Meanwhile, we have reactions coming in from political leaders. Let's listen in.
देखिए, जिस प्रकार का बयान महुआ मित्रा का आया है मां काली को लेकर, ये करोड़ों श्रद्धालुओं की भावनाओं को आहत करने वाला बयान है। पर दुख की बात यह है कि टीएमसी ने केवल हुस्न अफरोजी के लिए, केवल कॉस्मेटिकली उन्होंने उनके खिलाफ ट्वीट कर दिया है कि हम इससे इत्तेफाक नहीं रखते। परंतु सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि यदि टीएमसी की सरकार सही मायनों में ये मानती है कि आपत्तिजनक बयान है, तो अभी तक उनके खिलाफ एफआईआर दर्ज करवा कर लुकआउट नोटिस क्यों नहीं दिया गया है और अभी तक उनके ऊपर पार्टी के स्तर पर कोई कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं की गई है? इसका मतलब टीएमसी का महुआ मित्रा के लिए अभी भी ममता जारी है और इसीलिए वो केवल ट्वीट करके अपने आप को पल्ला झाड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, परंतु अभी तक कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की है। दूसरे मामलों में तो 3-3, 4-4 लुकआउट नोटिसेस, 3-3, 4-4 एफआईआर पुलिस की टीम अलग-अलग प्रदेशों में चली जाती है। तो आज महुआ मित्रा पे कानूनी रूप से और पार्टी की रूप से क्या कार्रवाई होगी, इसको क्यों नहीं कह पा रही है टीएमसी? क्या कहीं न कहीं वोट बैंक की राजनीति के चलते हिंदू आस्था पर करो चोट ताकि मिले वोट, इस प्रिंसिपल पर चलते हुए महुआ मित्रा को बचाया जा रहा है?
जिस तरह का ये कृत्य है, मैं एक बात जरूर सबसे कह रहा हूं कि मुझे इतना तो मार्गदर्शन दो कि आखिर हर बार हिंदू धर्म को ही क्यों सॉफ्ट टारगेट हिंदू धर्म को ही क्यों बनाया जाता है? हमारी भावनाओं को क्यों आहत किया जाता है? हमारे देवताओं को ही अपमानित क्यों किया जाता है? अगर है हिम्मत तो किसी दूसरे धर्म का भी तो एक बार बता के दिखाओ। ये मेरे बार बार कहने के बाद भी कोई जवाब नहीं देते हैं ये टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग वाले। उसके पीछे कारण ये है, ये जानते हैं कि हमने ये बात पकड़ ली है और इसलिए हम अब बख्शने वाले नहीं है, चाहे महिला मित्रा जी हो, चाहे मीरा मक्खली जी हो। अगर 24 घंटे में उन्होंने इस चित्र को नहीं हटाया, माफी मांगी, खेद नहीं व्यक्त किया, तो एक और एफआईआर आज हम करेंगे 24 घंटे बीतने के बाद।
तृणमूल कांग्रेस को कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए। अगर जिस तरह से उस बंगाल की धरती पे है गॉडेस दुर्गा हो, माँ काली हो, उनके लिए जिस तरह का उनका विवादित बयान आया है, उससे केवल तृणमूल कांग्रेस अपने को अलग कर ले ये काफी नहीं है, बल्कि वो एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं और उन्होंने जिस तरह से गॉडेस कॉली पे होली पे जिस तरह की बात कही है, उस पे उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, पार्टी से भी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, कानूनी कार्रवाई भी होनी चाहिए। और उन्होंने जिस तरह से तृणमूल कांग्रेस के ऑफिशियल ट्विटर को अनफॉलो कर दिया है, तो इससे एक तरह से वो स्वीकार कर रही हैं कि जो हमने कहा है सही कहा है।
मोइत्रा जी ने जो वक्तव्य दिया, मैं उस वक्तव्य से और मेरी पार्टी उस वक्तव्य से सहमत नहीं है। कोई भी धर्म के ईश्वर की अगर मजाक उड़ाई जाए, उनके लिए अभद्रता का प्रयोग किया जाए, हम उसकी घोर निंदा करते हैं। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। और कल भी मैंने अब यही बात कही, आज फिर कहता हूं, व्यक्तिगत रूप से और कांग्रेस पार्टी के प्रवक्ता होने के नाते मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि कोई भी धर्म के ईश्वर की अगर निंदा होती है, उनके साथ मजाक होता, अभद्रता होती है, कांग्रेस पार्टी उसकी घोर निंदा करती है। और व्यक्तिगत रूप पे अगर देवी माँ के साथ इस तरह की मजाक का कोई प्रयोग कर रहा है, तो हम उसकी घोर निंदा करते हैं, भर्त्सना करते हैं। और धर्म को अगर राजनीति में बार बार प्रयोग में लाके लोग अपना चेहरा चमकाना चाहते हैं, तो उन लोगों को भी हम चेताना चाहते हैं कि ये हिंदुस्तान कभी बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगा।
And amid the row over Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra's remarks on Goddess Kali, the Trinamool MP has sparked another political row. In a new tweet, Moitra has said, and I quote, "I do not want to live in an India where BJP's monolithic, patriarchal, Brahminical view of Hinduism will prevail and rest of us will tiptoe around religion. I will defend this till I die," unquote. Shifting focus now, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann today tied the knot with Dr. Gurpreet Kaur a day after making a surprise wedding announcement on Wednesday. The wedding festivities, attended by Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, took place at Chandigarh in accordance with Sikh customs. AAP Rajya Sabha MP Raghav Chadda were among the guests who attended the ceremony. Notably, the Punjab Chief Minister's wife, Gurpreet Kaur, is a doctor by profession and hails from Pehowa in Haryana's Kurukshetra district. Meanwhile, ahead of the wedding today, tight security arrangements were made in place at the residence of Chief Minister in Chandigarh. It may be mentioned here that the families of Bhagwant Mann and Dr. Gurpreet Kaur did not make the news of their upcoming marriage public till Wednesday. This is Mann's second marriage and had separated from his first wife in 2015.
मेरे छोटे भाई और पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री भगवंत मान जी विवाह के बंधन में बंध रहे हैं, नई शुरुआत कर रहे हैं। मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनको बहुत ही सुखी वैवाहिक जीवन दे और दोनों बहुत खुश रहें, दुनिया की सारी खुशियां उनको बख्शे।
देखो जी, आज मेरे बड़े भाई पंजाब के मानयोग मुख्यमंत्री भगवंत मान साहब की जिंदगी का एक नया चैप्टर शुरू होने जा रहा है। मेरी ओर से मान साहब को, मान साहब की पूरी फैमिली को, मान साहब की बेबे जी को, मान साहब की सिस्टर को और हमारी होने वाली परजाई जी को, सबको बहुत बहुत मुबारकां, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत बधाइयां। एक छोटा सा फंक्शन रखा है, एक रस्म रखी है, बस घर परिवार के लोग शामिल होंगे। दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी बस कुछ ही समय में यहाँ पहुंचने वाले हैं। वो अपने पूरे परिवार के साथ आए हैं। मैं और मेरी मदर भी यहाँ पहुंचे हैं और हम सब बहुत खुश हैं कि एक अरसे के बाद मान साहब के घर में, मान परिवार में खुशियां फिर से लौटी हैं। उनकी बेबे जी का सपना था अपने बेटे को फिर से सेटल होते देखें और आज वो सपना पूरा हुआ है, तो मैं मान साहब को बधाई देता हूं।
Well, tension prevails in the Kerur town in Badami Taluk of Karnataka's Bagalkot district after 4 persons were injured in communal clash that broke out on Wednesday night. At least 10 push carts and 5 vehicles were torched by angry mobs in Kerur town on Wednesday night. In the clash that broke out, 4 persons were injured who were later rushed to the hospital. The local administration has clamped prohibitory orders under CRPC 144 from Wednesday night to Friday night, during which all schools and colleges in the town will remain closed. So far, the police have taken as many as 5 persons into custody. As per an official release from the Tahsildar office, a verbal argument between 2 individuals identified as Arun Katimani and Yasin Pendari soon turned to an incident of communal violence. While the police maintained that a street harassment incident involving a woman led to the clash, some others argued that the fight was over a social media post by a woman doctor. The doctor allegedly posted a message opposing former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's statement against the prophet, questioning the inaction against her. This allegedly angered members of a right-wing group who went to the local police seeking the arrest of doctor who refused to register an FIR into the incident. Arun Katimani was a part of the group that tried to file a complaint against the doctor. Another group took objection to this and questioned Arun why he went to the police, and this ultimately led to the fight. NDA presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu arrived in Mizoram today. Well, Murmu arrived at the Lengpui airport earlier today, where she was received by Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga. Murmu also attended a program at the Aizol Club, where she addressed the Mizoram cabinet ministers and MLAs. Notably, the NDA presidential candidate is touring the northeast to drum up support for the presidential elections. And prior to this, yesterday, Murmu visited the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, and Nagaland. And later today, NDA's presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu will be holding a special meeting with ministers and MLAs of the BJP-led alliance in Assam. The meeting is scheduled to take place at the Vivanta Hotel at 6 p.m. today. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, State BJP President Bhavesh Kolita, and a host of other ministers and MLAs of the alliance will be present in the meet. On to some sports news now. Well, Rafael Nadal overcame an injury to beat Taylor Fritz and reach the Wimbledon semi-finals for an 8th time on Wednesday, keeping alive his dream of a calendar Grand Slam. The second seed lost the first set and had to take a medical timeout in the second, but raised his game to win 3-6, 7-5, 3-6, 7-5, 7-6 in a match lasting 4 hours and 21 minutes. Well, Nadal, a 22-time Grand Slam champion, will play Maverick Australian Nick Kyrgios for a place in Sunday's final. He admitted he was suffering from an abdominal problem. A pumped-up Nadal raced out of the blocks to take a 3-1 lead, but then lost 5 straight games to the 11th seed to lose the first set. The players swapped breaks in second set, but Nadal was not moving freely, and when leading 4-3, he sat down on his chair, shaking his head at his team. The trainer came on before Nadal left the court for a medical timeout to treat what appeared to be an injury. When he returned, Fritz served out to love, with Nadal's movement still looking hampered. But the Spaniard twice held serve comfortably to lead 6-5 in a backhand volley into the open court, sealed the second set to roars from the crowd. The set went to a tie break and Nadal seized control, racing into a 9-3 lead and completing the win on his second match point. And while news and updates continue on Northeast Live, so stay tuned for more news. Thank you.
जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है और दिखाएंगे वो जो रहता है